Welcome to Breaking Down Barriers to Learning, Accessibility 101, presented by Assistive Technology Services, Fairfax County Public Schools. I'm Molly Croft, Educational Specialist for Accessibility.
Hi, I'm Karen Hawley, Assistive Technology Coach.
Today we're going to talk about accessibility and why it matters, inclusive technology, specifically read aloud tools, elements of accessible documents, how to modify inaccessible documents, and then we'll share some resources with you at the end. As we get started moving through the training, we want you to think about, what does accessibility mean to you? Also consider what it means to your students and families that you work with. Take a moment to look at this illustration of the curb cut effect. You may have seen it before. Notice the curb cut. It was designed for people in wheelchairs, but it's useful for people with strollers, bikes, rolling carts, sore legs, or anyone who wants to get easily on and off a curb. It's a great example that shows when we design for individuals with disabilities, we make things better for everyone. And as we talk about designing for everyone, let's consider the FCPS strategic plan, which emphasizes equity through universal design for learning and multi-tiered systems of support. Part of that commitment to equity also means providing accessible learning materials to everyone, including individuals with disabilities. So we're going to talk about providing accessible learning materials through online options. Please know this does not mean that we cannot use paper. We definitely can, especially when it's essential to the lesson. But having an online version of the same content gives students choices that might better support their individual needs. Also keep in mind that UDL does not mean that we are making content less robust. We're simply removing barriers and giving all students the opportunity to engage in meaningful learning. Let's listen to what one of our assistive technology ambassadors has to say about using online learning materials. So that brings us to the next question, which is, how do you feel when your work isn't available online and it's only given to you on paper?
It makes me, I don't know, it just feels like a rage, like kind of like a fire. Like for me personally, like I just get so annoyed. Like when I know I have something that can help me, but I just can't use it, and then it just gets me to a point where I just give up and I just don't want to like say anything or do my work.
He goes on to say that when work is given to him digitally, it just relieves his stress. So let's take a look at some of the reading tools he and other students could use to listen to accessible learning materials.
Let's talk about read aloud tools. Read aloud tools are applications that convert written text into spoken words. They help individuals with difficulty reading or who prefer to listen to the content instead of reading it. Read aloud tools can be particularly helpful for individuals with learning disabilities, visual impairments, or language barriers. Read aloud tools can be found in various formats. Examples include text-to-speech software, web browsers, Google Chrome extensions, and screen readers. Let's take a look at some that are available to all students in Fairfax County. First up is Natural Reader, a free text-to-speech program that will read text out loud. It is a powerful tool that fosters independence in student learning. The video we are about to watch demonstrates how to access Natural Reader and multiple ways to use the program. Natural Reader is a free text-to-speech program that will read text out loud. It reads Microsoft Word files, Google Docs, web pages, PDF files, and emails. Natural Reader will not read text and images. The free version of Natural Reader can be downloaded for use at home on the website. The Chrome extension for Natural Reader has also been approved for Fairfax County students to use. Natural Reader is available on Fairfax County computers through AppV or My Applications. If Natural Reader is not listed in the user's My Applications folders, please contact your school's T-Spec. To access Natural Reader through My Applications, go to the Windows Start menu and scroll down and search My Applications. Then click Natural Reader 16. When the program opens, you will see a box. When the program opens, you will see a box to put text in. You can copy and paste text into this box and then have it read out loud. To read text out loud, simply highlight the text and then click play. You can change the voice. You can also change the speed. Down below, you can click this Open Documents button and have a PDF read out loud. Up to the top right is a More button. When you click this, you will find a tool called the Mini Board. The Mini Board is a tool that sits on top of any document. I have a PDF open here, and if I want to read my PDF, all I have to do is highlight the text, click play, and Natural Reader will read the text. Natural Reader also reads math worksheets. If I highlight the math text and click play, it will read my equations for me. You'll notice when I have Natural Reader open, it copies the text into the mini board when it's reading it out loud. I can also move my mini board around to anywhere I want on the screen. I can click the gear tool and I will get different settings. I can adjust the speed and I can change the voice. Natural Reader reads emails as well, the same way it reads other text. All I have to do is highlight the text in the email, click play, and Natural Reader will read my email. Natural Reader works in any Google application as well, such as Google Docs or Google Slides or Google Classroom. I simply highlight the text and click play, and Natural Reader will read it for me. Natural Reader is a free text. Did you know that your Chromebook will read the selection out loud and highlight each word as it is read? This is a great feature to use with Google Docs, slides, emails, web pages, and more. This accessibility feature is built into Chromebooks, so all students have access to this inclusive technology tool. Let's see how it works.
The first way I can use Select to Speak is to hold down the search key and then use the touchpad or mouse to click and drag a box around the content that I want read aloud. For reference, I like to hold my thumb down on the touchpad and use my index finger to then drag a box. If I just want to read one line aloud, I can hold down search and then just click that line.
Everyone should be able to access and enjoy the web.
I can press Control to stop speech at any time. A second way to use this feature is to use the Select to Speak button that appears in the lower right of the screen when the feature is on. It looks like a little sound icon with audio waves. I can click or tap that button with my finger and then similarly use my touchpad to drag a box, or even use my finger to drag a box if I'm on a touchscreen Chromebook.
Developers and publishers. Information and resources to help you develop accessible products and apps.
You can also use this button while Select to Speak is speaking to stop speech. The third way to use Select to Speak is to highlight specific text using my touchpad. Once it's highlighted, I can press Search plus S, as in Select, and then only that text will be read aloud.
Should be able to access.
This can be useful if you want to select very precise text instead of a larger region.
Write is an extension that works in Google Chrome to support students across all content area. It's easy to use and offers tools to support reading and writing. While you do need a paid account to access all of the tools, the text-to-speech tool is free for everyone. Let's watch this video to see how it works.
This video shows how Read and Write for Google Chrome can be used to read text aloud in Google Docs, Word docs, websites, and more. To use text-to-speech in a doc, highlight some text or place your cursor where you want to start reading and click the play button.
Have you ever heard of James Robert Cade? Cade invented Gatorade.
Read and Write uses dual color highlighting, which helps improve comprehension. You can customize the voice, reading speed, and other preferences under the Settings menu. Continuous reading controls whether Read and Write reads through the whole page or only what you've selected. Speak as I Type reads back your text when you're typing, either by word or by sentence. You can even use Read and Write to read comments in a document.
Why do you think Cade became a doctor?
To read text on the web, use hover speech to simply hover over some text with your cursor.
The unique geography of the Arctic leads to unique weather patterns that reappear in the region year after year.
You can also highlight a selection and click play. Text-to-speech can be used in Google Slides,
Great white sharks.
OneNote Online, learning management systems, and more. To learn more about Read and Write, visit texthelp.com.
Teachers can get a free premium subscription to Read and Write for Google Chrome. Visit the Read and Write website and sign up now.
This video
For text-to-speech to work, documents need to be accessible. Let's take some time to talk about what that means and how you can choose and create accessible learning materials. We want you to keep in mind that it's much easier to create accessible materials than to retrofit them later. Kind of like baking blueberry muffins. You need to put the blueberries in before you bake them. You could put them in after, but it's difficult and messy, and they won't taste as good. One of the most important elements of an accessible document is text. When you are designing or modifying learning material for students, you want to make sure that your text is text, not an image of text. Take a look at the picture on the left side of the screen. You are able to select this text, highlight, use read aloud tools, and change the font and styles. The example of text on the right is an image of text. This means that the text cannot be zoomed in, enlarged, or made clearer. The user is not able to select portions of the text and use read aloud tools. Let's talk about fonts. Take a look at the examples on the screen and notice which text is easy to read. The readability of the font used in text is very important because it directly impacts how easily and comfortably readers can process and understand content. Fonts that are easy to read help maintain a reader's attention. Fonts that are difficult to read make readers feel frustrated or disinterested. Scripty fonts can be difficult to read, while making simple fonts like Arial, Calibri, or Veranda are easier. It is also a good idea not to mix fonts when creating materials. Don't worry though, it's okay to use cute things, especially when they are instructional material that you are presenting to the class and not something that students are using independently. You can make them more accessible by retyping the information in a clear font or reading it out loud to the class. So why does contrast matter? For one thing, notice how difficult it is to read the title of this slide. Now, let's watch this short video from the NFL that shows what it would look like to somebody with color blindness who cannot see the difference in team colors.
Most of us saw a rush of color when the Bills beat the Jets last night in New Jersey, but others didn't. And it's causing quite the debate online. That's because some fans who are colorblind could not tell the two teams apart. Deadspin posting this video showing what it looks like to watch the game when you're colorblind. The league says it will incorporate a color blindness analysis when designing jerseys for next season. Various studies have found that red-green color blindness is most prevalent and affects as many as 13 million Americans.
High contrast ensures that text and images are easily distinguishable from their background and each other. Good contrast makes things clearer and easier to read. Don't make kids work harder than they need to. Give them ample brain space for learning, not accessing their materials.
So how do we know if materials are accessible, and what do we do when they aren't? How do we get the blueberries in after the muffins are baked? Ally for Schoology is an accessibility tool that can check your documents and help you remediate accessibility issues. When you go into a Schoology course, there's a button on the left side of your screen about halfway down that says Ally Course Accessibility. When you click that, it opens a dashboard that gives you an accessibility rating for your course. There's a tab that says Overview that gives you general accessibility rating, and information for remediating content with low scores. There's also a content tab that will give you more specific information for each item in the course. Ally also gives you accessibility rating for each individual document. 2 of the documents in this course have low accessibility scores. Let's look at how to fix that. One way you can make your document readable is by downloading it in an alternate format, then uploading it in an accessible version. Let's take a look. So sometimes the things that you want to use to support your teaching are on paper, and you need to scan them and upload them into Schoology for your students. But it's important to keep in mind that just scanning and uploading a material does not make it accessible. One thing you can do with Ally in Schoology is remediate that. If you look right here, my third document in my Schoology course says williamwarmup.pdf. And you'll see right next to it is the little Ally dial that's red and pointing to the left, letting me know it is not an accessible document. I'm going to open it so that you can see what it looks like. This is clearly scanned from a book. It's a little crooked. The text is a little wonky. It's kind of hard to read. There's some lines and hole punching stuff here. This is not an accessible document. I can't select any of this text. I can't do anything with anything in here other than read it with my eyes if I can see it well. So if that's the case, there is something I can do about it. And if I look to the right of that document, there's an A with an arrow pointing down. That is my alternative formats button. And when I click that, I get a list of formats that I can download my document in. And the one we recommend if you're using a PDF is OCR'd PDF. And OCR means optical character recognition. And what that does is convert graphic text into actual text. And so what I do is select that with the radio button, go down to the bottom and hit the button that says download. I'm going to click that and you'll see that it downloads. You can download it to wherever you need it to be. And then basically what you're going to do is re-upload it into Schoology. I'm going to skip that process because you know that part. Once I re-upload it though, you'll see William Warmup OCR'd, and you'll see that same accessibility score, that little green dial that tells me that in fact this material is now accessible. If you download it as an OCR'd PDF and then re-upload it, students will have access to an accessible document. You can even go in and delete the old one. Let me show you what the OCR'd document looks like. So take a look at that. It's much cleaner. The line is gone, the little mark from the binder it was in is gone, and the text is much clearer. And the best part is, if I open my Natural Reader mini board, put it off to the side, select my text tool, and select a bit of text. Let's select this bit right here. Press play.
In response, Harold quickly advanced with his army toward William.
Your students who require listening can actually access the document. So this is a great way to remediate if there's something you're using that's a scanned PDF that you're putting up in Schoology. The important thing to remember is that all the text you provide needs to be text and not pictures of text. Using accessible text allows your students to choose the format and tool that they need to engage and learn. We've shared a lot today. To learn more about accessibility, visit the FCPS website or the FCPS Employee Hub and search accessibility. To learn more about assistive technology services, visit the FCPS website or Employee Hub and search assistive technology services. You can also follow us on Twitter or X at ATS_FCPS. Join us by posting what you've learned using #RATE2023. We hope you found this information helpful and you feel that you can commit to accessibility for all your students and families. Thank you so much for watching.
Thank you.